Yes, let us look back upon this, because I have new tech that I could use in the future as well. So, I mean, there is that. And for now, I'm sticking to fairly safe strats just to make sure the run gets finished. But as time goes on, the more unsafe ones have to get A, implemented, and B, done considerably. No, I haven't hit bugs yet. The parts have arrived, but they're still, well, not at my place. The parts have arrived at the person who's building it. And then that has to be shipped back after it's built. So, I mean, give it like another month. But for now, we're going to have the live split in the input display over the screen because it's a YouTube video. Will this be made public? Probably not, but it is getting submitted onto speedrun.com. So, I mean, whenever it gets verified, which could be a little while. All right. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Now, I have actually done a little bit in terms of the tutorial of not doing it terribly, but for now, yeah, I'm still doing it the slow way in this recording, because it's, you know, it's from like 3 days ago or something at this point. But I now understand some of the ways to make this go faster. This is essentially the off-stream layout that I end up using that doesn't have the pizza time border and whatnot, because my face isn't there. There was me attempting to use something that I saw, but I didn't know yet that you had to go into a very quick slide dash in order to slow down just enough for that time to work. I know that now. I also know how to do this room slightly better, so there is that too. So yeah, we might actually save a couple of seconds off the tutorial earlier today. I mean, later today. Words. But I mean, at least it was a decent tutorial split. This one's fine. This is the current 101% record. It'll get broken at some point, but for now, this is the current one. Because, I mean, if there's still 7 minutes worth of having to retry things on my end, then there's obviously going to be improved at some point. Whether I get a better run or somebody else manages to get a better run. John Gunner 101% so awkward. Also that throw. If you throw at a slope, Peppino actually throws straight up, which is odd. They're very awkward in that one spot because you're trying to hit that one extra guy. I always save my super tough for these two. It might be theoretically better to use it in the guys in the previous room, but I mean, some 101% is theoretically possible, but there's gonna have to be a few minutes worth of time saved still. Just from cleaner play. It's gonna require aggressive strats for the entire run. Or just some kind of big discovery or game-changing patch. Something like that. I have something in my, like, rattling in my brain of a better way to do the end of that room. Of picking up the first guy and throwing him at the second, but it's kinda awkward to do in such a small space. But it'd probably work. You have to make sure to go down during the escape portions of 101% because there's an extra enemy that spawns down there. And since you need every single enemy in John Gunner in order to get the achievement, you can't miss them. You gotta go down. Which of course is different from every other run where you just go straight ahead. Usually Peppino's grabs can be a little bit slow, but if you're multi-killing with them, they're not bad. So after running these a few times, you'll get used to how many combo you should have at any given point. Like, going into the flaps, you importantly have 74. If you have that number, then things are going right. I don't know how possible all chef tasks in one run on John Gunner would be, because you'd have to somehow do the entire combo and P-rank in over a minute less than when it's already being done. It doesn't seem fathomable. There would have to be something major. Wait, does this have a failure in it? Oh, right, I fixed it. My brain went into the 80% run that follows John Gunner real briefly. I forgot I made this mistake. So yeah, John Gunner has a very blatant mistake in it in this run. I got ahead of myself and thought I was in the fast run of the level before I had actually finished the 99 combo run of the level. I'm very prone to the brain crosswires happening. So yeah, that would have probably been a gold split on John Gunner, but then I messed it up. Yo, Mortel! We're taking a look at my 101% that I did off stream. So, second round of John Gunner, you just have to go fast. Just go as fast as you can. You should already have the top-ins, so you don't even have to do those. Yeah, just means free time save later. Man, that was gonna be an easy gold split, too. Damn. I ruined it. Way to go, past me, you ruined it. The record's still at this point where I don't have to worry too much about the individual times of levels, just as long as I don't drop them. Tried to do that mock launch again, I can never quite get it to work. I'm gonna figure it out eventually, and then I'll be able to get it more consistently. But I'm using 101% as an excuse to give it a try. It's a lot of buttons they have to mash together. Alright, this way you can see me doing what I was doing at the end of the previous one. Actually, no! Now I don't do... Brain, what are you doing? I went from doing the 80% strat on the 101% run to doing the thorough strat on the 80% run. My brain, it is not to be comprehended. And as a result, it was slow. Oh man, Pizzaface. I actually did some Pizzaface practice last night, even. Got some brand new tech to use. Yeah, my mind is a puzzle to many. For the parrying the Dwarf Knights, I found the earlier ones is the better option, because you want to be able to go full speed during the escape, so you might as well get the parries done early. Especially when there's a big cluster of 3 of them in the same place. I mean, I had a hard time getting the P ranks eventually, not eventually, at first as well. But then I made my compilation video, and I ended up getting the P rank in each stage several times to try to get a fast recording. And now it's spawned into this! I went from the content farm to the hey, I think I can actually do this now mindset. It's a bit of a tricky parry, that one. This guy, this one, and there you go. There's the parrying achievement done. Now, you do get extra speed from the knights whenever you down stab onto the slopes, so that's actually optimal to do that. I swear, that particular ledge, you sometimes crash on it if you time that jump poorly, so I'm happy that hasn't happened yet, but it'll happen eventually. Yeah, especially the game ending with war as the final stage to get you used to going a bit faster. You just have that sudden moment of, but what if? I'm pretty sure I just said one at the same time as one there, just by wrapping it into the old sentence, but anyways. Oh man, I've got some stupid new tech for this room. It's not in this video, but I got some stupid new tech for that room. That one jump is still one of the hardest things. Its timing isn't super duper tight, but it's tight enough to be a problem. Nudge. So do we want to speedrun this game specifically? Well, you see, I really, really like it. And it just, its movement feels so good to get right that it's like, okay, this has combined together into something I genuinely enjoy. I always use this guy for this achievement since you need to get an enemy to kick you into another one. And he's set up perfectly for after the secret. It helps that this game's runs, especially the 100% category, are about the same length as random runs. So I'm used to having runs about that long for the stream. So it's just like, I'm already accustomed to runs of about this length, so 100% it is! Locked my head there on that pesky jump, but I realized I timed it early, so I held up. I've always been doing a little bit of go fast ever since the whole randomizer nonsense. But this is the first game where it really clicked with me for a game itself. Because usually I need something that's a bit more random to keep my interest, but this game's so wild in terms of performance, in terms of how you actually do, that it keeps things interesting, even though it's the same game each time. Oh, Pepperman, we got up-to-date strats and they're so much more consistent! Even when he does that! The extra bounce doesn't scare me anymore! It still annoys me, but it's less of a problem. And let me tell you, he was feeling bouncy today! Like, I'm straight up on the wrong side of the room now. I shouldn't be over here. That's okay, we made it work. Definitely took some time loss on it, though. Look at all them extra bounces! That's 3 so far! 4 extra bounces! Oh man! Oh man, Pepperman! There's no stopping the pep! Make sure to hit him in the correct direction for this phase this time. That spawned on the entirely wrong side of the room, so I had to do backup strats. So yeah, not a fast Pepperman, but I'm much better at dealing with him now. Still not consistent by any means, but... So the new strat is to, instead of sliding across the room, just using the grabby hands. You still slide in first at the very start of a fight, but using a grab dash instead gets you across there fast enough to react to him doing an extra bounce. But yeah, the classic losing like 5 seconds on Pepperman bouncing around the room like an idiot. Ancient Cheese, I started implementing the 80% strat a little bit, but it's still not perfect. It's a start, though. Because if you can go, get that top in, and then hit up top. It's really good for 101% because you need to crumble the cheese blocks. Yeah, got the cool movement in that room. I like it. You can also just do a fastball there, but I mean, I want the extra enemy because the score is not super duper strict in this level, but it's strict enough. There's a skip in the first secret I could implement that would probably be a good idea. It's just, I need the crumble blocks at 101%. But I can probably implement it in 100%. I just had to make sure to do a couple of super taunts later. I love that uppercut to grab the bomb automatically. I had no idea that was a thing until I saw it. It's like, what do you mean you auto-grab the bomb if you uppercut it? That's cool! I like that. I actually remembered what room I was going into for a change. For some reason, I often forget this particular room exists, even though it's the one with the treasure. I'm confused if we're going into this one, just because they both start with the vertical pizza box. Yeah, and it's a lot more cheese blocks than you would expect. It's like 300 and something. It's quite a bit. I've gotten it fairly consistent now in terms of the strat I can use for the blocks. It might not be 100% optimal, it probably isn't, but it's a start. It's a lot better than the kind of desperate struggle I was doing with it before. Also, I've started just stopping there to start climbing up the wall. It's very slightly slower, but it's way more consistent, so good enough. Get all these cheese blocks. Actually landed the box. So much harder than it looks. You gotta make sure to back up when coming out of that particular box. Because if you don't get a little extra space, you'll get poked by the fork knight instead of just bowling them over. You need just enough room for that slide to complete to get your speed. Like, normally it pops by now, but it didn't this time because I missed a couple of other blocks. Also, I don't know exactly what that was. I guess I thought I still needed the bomb for some reason. But there, it popped now. Oh yeah, that's bad error, but thankfully you can fix it like that. Oh man, definitely lost some time on lap 2. Lap 2 was not clean. It was very messy. But very messy don't necessarily mean we dropped it. So you get to keep going. A little bit dirty, but the split was so bad in my previous record for Ancient Cheese that we still saved time. You'll love to see it. So I've started taking blood sauce as safe as possible these days. Because it's way too easy to make a slip up and land in the blood sauce. So I make sure to get rid of that guy for to extend the combo meter just long enough that even if I screw up here, it's not a problem. And 100% I wouldn't bother, since dropping the combo there really means nothing at all, since you don't need the P rank. But you need it here, so I'll take the couple of seconds versus dropping yet another goddamn run 20 minutes in blood sauce. I find I have to do a very specific set of motions to not have that one anchovy attack me early. It's weird. Make sure to stay far enough back that you can get a slide completed before that guy. There's a lot of small movements that are just making sure that you're going fast enough to scare one of those fellas. Because otherwise you'll charge straight into their weapon and have a bad time. Gotta slide right there. Make sure to go as far forward as possible so you can slide underneath of the fencer. Or I guess they're called pencers? Because of course they are. How to determine a Pizza Tower enemy name. Put a P to replace its first letter. That'll be a shocking number of them right there. Wizard, Pencer. Still don't have a fast way to do this secret. You can probably get away with skipping a couple more pizza cutters at a time, but I mean... right now I don't have that sort of thing practiced, so I'd rather not attempt it 19 minutes in. The secret of slow the heck down! Don't even try. Gotta make sure to do the super jump at least once during the run. Gotta get them chef tasks, even if they are slower than just climbing the wall. Yeah, as much as I love to use parrying, it's a little too slow in more optimized runs at least. We gotta calmly walk! And I feel like I had it. You know, I never really felt like I had it until I finished Pizza Head, because that's the thing. Pizzaface is the roadblock. Oh god, right, the secret. Oh yeah, Super Ton here. Because I am not risking that tiny ledge hop, so I go for the much safer super jump strategy instead. Oh yes, Pizzaface at the end of the 101% run is the roadblock. It's too easy to screw up in that fight. And to have it at the very end is terrifying. Because no matter how many minutes you've saved, if you screw up a couple of times on that fight, it's gone. I still don't see anybody else run Blood Sauce quite the same way I do. This is like the most varied stage of them all. Everybody's got their own slightly different way to handle Blood Sauce's escape. It's kind of the neat thing about it. It's like, it's deceptively simple, but at the same time, everybody has their own slightly different variation. Gotta make sure to pick up the sauce on lap 2. Everybody calls this tomato soup. It's gonna be just a bowl of the blood sauce. That's why we're here. We gotta get the sauce. Like, I'm the only one that does this setup because I don't trust myself to do that little ledge hop. The timing's tight, and I'd rather make the timing less tight. Yeah, you can parry the pizza cutters. Yeah, getting in on lap 2 is faster, though. Maybe by only a couple of seconds, but it is still faster. Oh boy, we get to come to the first real boss of this run. Oregano Desert. If you ever need to increase your love of hamburgers to 101% for any extended period of time, you'll really want to eat some. Make sure to get rid of that guy because it makes the escape a nightmare. You can parry most things. Some things it feels like you might not be able to, like some of the fake Peppino's clones running at you, but you probably can. Freaking Cowardice is one of, if not the most obnoxious achievement in the entire game. I mean, short of like no damage Pizza Head, but at the same time. They're so ridiculously well placed to be a pain in the ass. The other two achievements in this level are basically an afterthought, but Cowless in and of itself is enough. The Shopkeep one has like one store where it's a bit of an issue, but the entire second half of this entire level, it's just cows. It's just dodging cows. Make sure to get rid of these guys to keep the combo meter alive. Can't do hot wing skip at 101% or 100% for that matter, because you need to roam. Honestly, the only category right now that gets to skip this section is any percent, because even True Ending needs to roam. Alright, so this is the room before it begins. So I purposely do a slide here to slow down, so I can just kind of walk through here. There's a Mach 4 strat you can do to get past all these cows, but I'm not 100% consistent at it, so we do safe strats instead. I don't really need to come over this way, it's a little bit slower, but points are nice, I guess. The score is fairly strict in this level if you're going fast. The secret's always kind of awkward. The floating jumps, Hot Mouth Peppino always takes some getting used to. And since you only use them on this level... Now with the UFO, I end up doing the same thing as the previous cow room, where I purposely go slower. I'm not holding forward at all during that first section, because I don't want to hit Mach 4, because that makes dodging those cows a little bit trickier if you don't know what you're doing. Back up to the wall here before doing the slide, and you'll be on the perfect sync. You just run straight to this guy. Super jump back out, turn around, jump over. That's how you can get that guy and get out of there without hitting a cow. It's tricky though, don't screw that up! Because if you fall off the cycle... Oh yeah, I can tell that I jumped a little bit too high there, so I knew he was going to throw a hot wing. If I ran up the wall right at the same time as I normally would, he would have hit that hot wing directly into Peppino's mouth. And the only way to get rid of it is to get hit by a cow! So, you also need to be very certain not to eat a hot wing you don't want to, or you're gonna have to go get kicked by a cow on purpose. This particular cow bird is the least scary of them, but hey, the pressure would probably be getting to you at this point in terms of just trying to get the first try cowless. So it's very easy to just make a random flump and get kicked by a cow. Yeah, just getting kicked. The milk only exists. Oh yeah, I always do the little dance for that one. You just had to go back and forth once. The milk only exists in refrigerator. In this stage, there is no milk. Only taking damage for pizza popes. Keep on getting a bad dive there, it makes me sad. I'm diving a little bit too early and it's causing me not to get the dive momentum. I haven't seen anybody else doing the bonk on purpose strat there yet. It seems like the fastest one, even compared to the any percent stuff, so I'm just like, I'm gonna keep doing my little faceplant strats. Yeah, 101% is just constant stress. If you want to really feel like Peppino, run this category. But yeah, there we go, first try Catalyst. Wasteland's really not that bad. You just have to make sure to have it lap where you're sliding on the zombies at the very least. And make sure not to leave too many enemies laying around as a ghost. But other than that, just don't screw up, forehead. Slide and jump. Just keep holding up and you'll head on over. Penis Simulator 2023, yeah, pretty much. You want to drive yourself freaking crazy? Run this category. So you'll never be the same once you have the first experience of getting all the way to the end of the game, thinking you've broken one of your times, and then it doesn't tick up to 101% because you forgot some random achievement that you weren't thinking about at the time. Cause yeah, that has well, I haven't had that one happen just yet, but I've definitely seen it happen. Whenever I do get a hitbox, the ghost is probably gonna be the biggest adjustment. Just because having buttons instead of a D-pad's a little bit confusing when flying around, I must admit. But I'll get used to it. Edges of the screen, super taunt. I had to run into this stage because I forgot to actually hit all the enemies in this area. Like, one enemy didn't get hit right there, and it was just bad. What's going on? You mean the jittery frame rate? Yeah, I don't know. I think OBS was choking for a bit. It'll fix itself. Just one of those things. We're recording 2.5 hours of footage and whatnot. What's going on in general? Oh. We're watching the off-stream 101% that I did recently. I also don't see anybody doing that triangle jump maneuver for the mushroom yet. Because it's definitely faster than stopping, and stopping is what they do right now. All these little small things that when they start getting combined together, we're gonna have a truly ridiculous run somewhere. Because I mean, 80% is starting to get so optimized that all the small tricks are starting to really matter. It's only gonna be a matter of time before Black gets a 109. He's already gotten super close a couple of times. Which is completely absurd considering the next best is 112 right now. Dude is well ahead of the pack. Alright, so I made sure to slide on all the zombies that particular time, so this time we're just free to run through as fast as possible. I can't believe my brain's actually gotten used to that one ledge at the start of Wasteland, like during that part of the escape. Because that feels like something similar to the bananas that I constantly forget, and other such things like a ledge in Gnome Forest. But amazingly... Yeah, but like 80% is being actively and aggressively run by quite a few people is the thing. That's the key difference between the two categories, is active competition. 100% hasn't had an upload in a while. Cutting it close with the number of enemies slain as usual. 80% is really ridiculous right now in terms of people running it. And I get it, it's a nice short run. I mean, even an hour is still considered fairly long for a speedrun, which is kind of funny. 101 currently has like 2 people that have managed to run sub 3 so far. And one of them's me. The other basically got a 223, but they did forget one achievement. And by forget, I mean they made a stumble in the refrigerator and didn't notice it. Oh, yeah, back there was that glitch that happens sometimes where you ground pound an object and Peppino just gets kind of stuck on it. It's very annoying, but it does happen. It won't happen as long as you're not pressing it, like, either left or right. But sometimes you're trying to correct your position, and then you get stuck on a box. There's a fast strat for getting up there that doesn't involve super jumping, but jeez. It is input spaghetti at the best. There's like 1 or 2 people also running the category and not submitting, but not very many. I mean, to be fair, who wants to run 101%? Crazy people, right? I still can't believe I messed up that super jump twice in a previous attempt. That's why there's so much time to save on Fun Farm. It's because the previous PB had me not super jump in the right position in that room twice, causing me to miss the small toppins, not refresh my combo meter, and have the combo meter drop. And I'm just like, what am I doing? It's like, what am I doing? I can't ignore everything. The combo meter has to live. Naturally, we didn't get the boardless. I seem to face planted those attempts at least once, but hey, it's free to try. That's the important thing. I might lose like maybe a quarter of a second or something if I face plant that first attempt, because Mort has to come out of the well anyways. So if I face plant, well, that uses up most of the time that it takes for Mort to come out. Yeah, the big thing I always stress with 101% runs is just be prepared to fail levels. It will absolutely happen. It will happen a lot. But you have to keep going. It's the only way. Be prepared to occasionally forget achievements or any other number of things that could go wrong. This category is a mental battle. Yeah, Odyssey is definitely quite a marathon as well for its completion category. Please tell me they don't also include the buying the moons from the shop. Hey, I got on the second lap, the important lap. Did crash though, that's less than ideal. My mental's okay. It does tend to suffer from a little bit of cross-wiring and other such issues, but it manages, it manages. It feels weird doing 2 laps of Saloon at this point, but here we are. I don't have to be as thorough as in 100%, but I do have to get all the cards and bottles, so you have to be pretty thorough. I'm pretty sure you only get 1 bottle spare. 1. Oh, you mean, okay. I think I know what you mean by that question. No. When the P rank pops up on your HUD, it is not permanent. You have to finish the stage to lock it in. If you drop your combo before you finish the stage, it will go down to an S rank. What's the timer? You mean the one right here? That's the in-game timer, so it's just showing the save rank time so far. Oh, the pizza clock. So those are switches that lower these marinara walls. You can see me kind of jumping through, like this one at the end. You can see them turn back on when the timer expires. You gotta make sure to get through them in time. There's also an achievement for never activating the buttons more than once, which thankfully just means having to turn the button back on if it's done, it fully expired once. Double tapping is fine, just as long as the timer hasn't run out yet. That made that achievement so much less of a problem. I used to think even the double taps would count as hitting it twice, but thankfully they don't. Because this game has a surprising number of mechanics that are designed specifically to be merciful to the player. Yeah, it was always the case, I just didn't know. Yeah, it's fine if you actually hit it like, say, it's really common with things like the sausage dog here. Where this button up top, you tend to go a little too fast and go right past it like this. That double tap doesn't count as hitting it twice. I used to think that it does, but it doesn't, and it's so much better to know that. Because that button and the other button where you have the sausage jog are really prone to getting double tapped. Yep! Turns out the double taps are perfectly A-okay! Which is fine by me! Didn't get the boost off that first enemy, so I had to come back up here the slow way. Unfortunate. Got a Wario Land 2/3 and up in here again. Make sure to get the bottle as well. It's funny how even this secret is handled differently between the two categories. Admittedly, it's probably faster for me to just start jumping up the walls instead of doing these super jumps. But for now, I'll just keep doing it the way I'm used to. Because the super jump is kind of slow to execute compared to just going jump, jump, jump. few optimal hops there, and you can get the cards and the bottles. Didn't get the jump after busting through that block, so I had to go around the slow way. Get rid of these guys, get the bottles. And all that's left is the bottles in the left 2 area. Be very certain to slide under this button. It's directly in the way, but you can slide under it. Very strategically placed in such a way, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to do lap 2 and dodge the button at the same time. Look, Peppino came to fight! He'll use a glass bottle if he has to! Nah, you never need Pizzaface to chase you, so you're free to go as fast as you like. Give me a little up warp. There we go. Yeah, there's the button achievement right there. Now, unfortunately, here's where we get the end of the streak. There's Vigilante is where I make my first mistake. Yeah, you just keep holding up after doing result screen skip, and as long as you're positioned right, you'll hit Mr. Stick. Missed that shot. I need to start doing the easier strat, where you just use buffered timing to make sure to hit him on the way down instead. Because that's decidedly a lot easier. Now, unfortunately, the mistake that happens in this particular fight isn't something that was entirely my fault. It was this! We got bad cutout RNG, and then I made a really stupid choice to move towards Vigilante, because I always forget he does that move. But yeah, cutout RNG struck. And I didn't recover from it properly. It's all it takes sometimes, it's just having one of those damn cutouts drop down at the worst time. This fight goes nice and smoothly, at least. Make it so I only lose about a minute for that, but still, it's a free minute. This fight really just depends on where the cutouts decide to drop down, because if they drop down in front of your charge shot, then things get really hairy and you lose a fair bit of time. Because otherwise, Vigi just doesn't really do anything, so it really is just down to those damn cutouts. It's the easiest boss to speed through the noise. There's some RNG to him, but it's very minor compared to a lot of the other bosses. Yeah, it's attack choice, which can be a small problem in Phase 2, because if he decides to start with the pogo, then it makes it very difficult to get double hits in. But other than that... if he starts with any of his other moves, it's fine, but if he starts with pogo, it can be somewhat of a pain in the ass. So, of course, that being my first drop, I was getting really sweating at this point, because it's just like, oh god, don't let the run start falling to pieces now. Because, like, the run was going so well, and then bad RNG happened, so there's some slight strain in the back of the head at this point, for past me. Especially since I historically have a lot of troubles with Crust Cove, because of the parry the cannonball achievement. Which I finally have a consistent spot that I want to do that during, but it's still kind of rough. Especially since the fellows that you need to parry, the first available one's up there, but if you go for them, you'll probably drop your combo, so it's like... it's really awkward to find a spot to sneak in one of those parries. The best place is in this room. I tried right here, but it was just a smidgen early, so that's the second drop of the run. It's the delayedness of those shots that always gets me, because the cannon has to, like, distort for a bit, and then it fires, and the cannonballs themselves move quite slowly. It's a lot of small things put together. So yeah, at this point I'm really just like, oh god, don't drop the run, don't drop the run, it's going well, don't drop it! I don't want to drop another one! This guy is the ideal target. You get lots of time to set up, your combo is refreshed from hitting the Pizzaface. He'll always fire it around the same time. That guy is the one to do the parry on. So I'll try to make sure to do it for that one in the future. Yeah, I should probably start implementing getting a couple of treasure chests in the 100% run instead of doing Secret 2. Because that definitely seems ideal. The Secret 2 is pretty long, whereas grabbing a couple of the treasure chests, not so much. speaking of treasure chests, this one's really handy because it keeps your combo meter going for longer. It makes this jump a lot easier. Nah, 100%, because you need to get enough. Like, you'd still go into Secret 2, but you wouldn't do the back and forth on the water. You just hop back and forth in the middle wall instead. Yeah, it has to be the living goblins too. The goblin turrets don't count. It'd be really convenient if they did, but they don't. Yeah, it's just because the turning around animation for the mock dash is pretty long. It's why it's avoided at all costs, usually. This room still makes me incredibly nervous. There's so many potential spots where you can get blasted by a cannonball. I got stuck on that ladder, but thankfully recovered. I wasn't quite above that ladder yet, apparently. And then make sure you climb down here really slowly. There's just so many potential spots where you can cross the streams and get hit by a cannonball. It's really awkward. Oh, lost control. Thankfully, the escape of Crest Cove is pretty chill for the most part. You can also just slide under a cannonball that you're outrunning. It's very convenient. You can't get a game over, no, but if your time expires during the escape, like you can see down there, Pizzaface will come out and chase you, and if he gets you, then you have to restart the whole level, which can be quite an ordeal if it's your first time playing. So a lot of these levels will end up taking 10 plus minutes, so timing out is kind of nasty. It makes the initial attempt to get these second laps and P ranks in really difficult. This is 101% at the moment. I'm showing a recording of the record that I got off stream recently. And we're gonna do an 100% run afterwards. Yeah, if the timer expires in war, you similarly get exploded. You really don't want the timers to run out in this game. Especially since there's certain stages where you just can't get outrun Pizzaface. There's some rooms where it just won't happen. Not without the power of mods. Also, once again, do this one little jump over the elevator to summon Mr. Stick early to save a little bit of time. And now the most awkward stage in 101% possibly. Gnome Forest, we're on top of the awkward to get P rank. You also need to destroy every single wooden block in the entire stage. And there are many of them. And I always forget the one up here. It's so out of the way, but there's 3 blocks right there that you need to get. You're not allowed to miss a single one. Not even one! There's even wooden blocks in the tutorial! Yeah, Pizza Scare's not anywhere near as bad with the skull blocks. Because they're all pretty much on the critical path, you just have to spend a little bit more time going back and forth in a couple of spots. Gnome Forest puts them all over the side paths. So that's when things get real dicey. Still do this, though. just saw a setup to consistently hit those 2 blocks without having to kick Rick. I call him Rick again. Brick. So I'll have to try that out sometime. Maybe I'll try it out in the run later. Where you, like, jump against the ceiling, and then I think if you hold the jump button, you'll hit both of them? I'm just guessing based on what I've seen Black doing. Did I just... Yeah, I just collided with that block! I guess that glitch can happen with Gustavo as well. Time to kick a little too early there. Had to stop here and kick Brick. His Brick, thankfully, when you kick him from specifically the ground, is 2 blocks high. I don't know why he's shorter when you kick him from midair and have him start rolling that way. Messed up some jumps here, but thankfully Super Taunt is a great ocean button. Yeah, this is a recording. I just wanted to show the current 101% record. Yeah, there's a whole, like, side plot going on with Gustavo and Brick. It's kind of amazing. Just in each hub as you progress along, seeing their relationship change. First there was terror, and then there was violence, and then there was companionship. And then there was, honestly, well-developed friendship gone into just playing some gambling for fun. And then there was consistent fear. Hey, I actually remembered that ledge this time. And then the game's finished and they're just buddies forever. This seems to be the most convenient time to do this achievement. Just because there's a bee right there as well, so you get to do both at the same time. Plus your combo meter is refreshed, and if you get hit, you can actually recover it a little bit. It's a pretty safe spot to do that one. I mean, there's not really much of a plot in this game. Pizzaface bad, wants to blow up restaurant. Stop him. Yeah, that room's always closed in terms of dropping your combo, but as long as you don't bonk, you'll get it. Get rid of these guys so you can jump up this way. I always miss these 2 blocks. I gotta line that up better. Kick Brick to make sure all of these get destroyed. We pick up our pizza pie! And now that we're back to Peppino, there's a whole bunch more of these wooden blocks they had to deal with. Like these ones! There, I finally did that the way that I wanted to in the first place. Super jump up and then super jump cancel to get the others. Swing back around because I needed to get those other 3 small blocks. And now we're good to go on wooden blocks for the time being, because the last of them are in the very first room of the level. So thankfully, lap 2 is Gustavo, you can just kind of go for it. No further chores, just run. Run fast, destroy thine enemies, etc. And now I have it set up so the only wooden blocks I have to deal with on the first screen can allow me to just immediately stop and go for them. So these ones, and then the last 3 are after the secret. consistently pops it over to the P rank since we finally entered the third secret. Just don't screw this up. And the last 3 blocks will get destroyed on the way down. And that's Gnome Forest. It is a headache. Deep Dish 9 is mostly the same. There's just one out-of-the-way asteroid you have to make sure to destroy. Other than that, everything's the same as 100%. Oh, right, there's also the man meteor. I always forget about the meteor. Just because that is a side thing, but it's just a small side thing. Boink! 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 God, this song. Even Sauceman knew what this one was all about. At least I think, pretty sure this one's Sauceman. Extraterrestrial Wawas. They knew that the guitar was the thing holding this song into what it is. Not going any for fancy rocket shenanigans here in terms of the tight quarters, but I will do this! Because it's still beneficial to skip straight into Secret 2. Because you can just get the Meteor achievement like this. The UFOs will never actually go to the far sides of that particular drop-down, so it's safe to go up with the olive, scout out where they were, and then ground pound accordingly. You can run up the wall as well, but it'll give you less time. And guess what? It's the worst drop of the run! Oh no! I wasn't quite high enough and crashed! And there is no way to save your combo if you crash on this screen. That's 3 minutes down the drain. Oh, 101%, you fickle, fickle beast. I was mad about that one. It's like, oh no, me, what did you do? You just had to go a little higher. Oh, God. Yeah, there's still about 7 minutes of free time out of these drops available. It's not much, but it's some. Yeah, I can skip the Meteor achievement at least. There's not much time spared, but it's a little bit. Yeah. Playing perfectly for over 2 hours is certainly a thing in a game like this. Do the thing again. That's honestly really easy to do. Just start turning around when you're in the drum section and hold up and forward. It'll get you in the right position. And then you just have to make sure to dismount at the proper time. Yeah, the 180 Emblem speedruns for Song of Adventure 2 would be something, because that game actively fights against you. Make sure to get that thing again. Almost dropped the combo again from not quite stepping into the olive. You got no time to spare for that. You have to make sure to get straight back over there after you destroy the extra asteroid. If I ever drop an 101% run because I didn't get the Turbo Tunnel achievement, I will feel a great sense of shame. You can usually get quite a bit during the escape segments, especially since Lab 2 respawns several enemies. Those respawned enemies do count as additional combo. I am messing around. This guy has to go. Not playing the green strats at this point. The stage already got dropped once. Oh god, guys, look at the live split on the recording. Look how much of the time save is bleeding away before our very eyes. We were up over 3 minutes. And it's just ticking down, down, down. Nah, because there's only so many enemies that spawn during the escape. I don't know why I was trying to go for that 2 laps in a row. Because they only spawn once. It doesn't keep respawning them infinitely. They just have specific spots that they spawn in. So getting enough score for P or S rank just requires you to optimally make use of those as well. Anything that truly infinitely respawns doesn't actually add to your combo at all. It refreshes it, but it doesn't add to it. Yeah, the time save's completely gone. We're just 10 seconds ahead now. Nobody's done low percent yet, no, because getting D rank sucks. It's just miserable. Nobody wants to sit there hitting Peppino 1,000 times at the end of a level. Just to get back down to a D rank. Golf! So far it's been going pretty decent, -1 crash. Yo, Rick, I'm coming on in with the party too. Yeah, the hoops are just there to give you an idea of where to shoot. You don't have to follow them, and thankfully they're not required for any achievements. I mean, there's definitely harder low percents out there, but that's definitely up there on the list of tedious ones. Messed up the jump here, said got scooped up by a few of those guys. Oh well. Yeah, the fact that you can do these golf rounds really, really fast when played properly is kind of hilarious. And they're only loosely golf, but I mean, the basics are there. Like the Primo Bergs. I did say tedious. Ah, I got caught by that guy! Ah! Get me out of here! I hate that guy! I like how I use my old safety strat from Berg Skip, and it just happens to be perfect for getting nice shot. It's like, oh yeah, my old slow setup for this actually does this achievement at the same time. Cool, we'll use that. I wasn't even trying it. Screw that one particular booster. It's after me! Is this finally a run where I do this room properly? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Good. I mean, Trending can skip lap one of these games. They just need to set the burger a little bit further away. Give them some extra time. Because if you set it far enough away, it is possible to grab Jerome and get out of there in time for burger skip. It's just a little bit different. Pretty good golf though, got a good 5 seconds out of that, but we're into the small time saves again. It's the noise! I feel like the noise is one of my more consistent bosses until I start recording 101%. Any other run, it seems to go perfectly fine. 101%, I keep on finding dumb ways to get hit. Man, I always love how pissed Peppino looks about the balloon here. Like, he's scared at first, but then he looks at Noise like, what did you do? It's like, I know this is your fault! Get our fella out of the way so I can use it for a double. Make sure to put him safely out of the way again so I can get another double. Yeah, none of that pogo this time. 3 doubles is pretty good. You do have to be careful of the noise, like fake enemies, because that pointy nose does have a hitbox. It's a fairly gentle one, thankfully, but it can still get you. But hey, the previous PV actually messed up on the noise one, so more free time save! Hell yeah! I got about a minute and a half back. Off to Peppibot! Oh, this stage is so weird. There's entirely different ways to route it, based entirely on which category that you're playing. True Ending and 80% are mostly the same, but 100 and 101% are both very different. Because 100% one laps this stage, 101% doesn't have to, but they do have to do a lot of other things, so it gets really wacky. Big thing for this stage is making sure to take out every single Peppibot. And hey, since I don't need a one lap, I can do this. I'm using taunts for stalls because I know that those stupid electric outlets are going to be in the way. They always are. Oh hey, I think that's the only instance of being possessed by Ken Masters in the entire run. And here I go, getting 100% and 101% confused again. I don't have a super taunt here. I need to actually jump up there and deal with that guy before going into the secret in 101. You can slide here to avoid that guy if you want. I haven't practiced it, so I have not done that yet, but it's something you can do. Oh god, that's another interesting thing with the pizza box I see even other runners have too. Where sometimes Peppino is very, 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 very slightly off the ground and bonks when you try to go through those small openings. A little bit of a screw up here. This level? You mean a one-lap S rank, right? Because otherwise the score requirement is pretty lenient. But yeah, one-lap S is pretty tight in this level. You need to not drop your combo 100%. And take out pretty much every enemy you see. Nothing is allowed to survive. It's like you need that big chunkus combo counter if you want to get the full score. But 2 laps, you got tons of extra points to work with. Yeah, the 1 lap S is tricky. You gotta be thorough, real thorough. Even 101% has to be pretty thorough, because, you know, you gotta destroy all the Peppibots. None shall survive! Yeah, that's why you see me go into the lap 2 area early in an 100% run, because I want to get those points before my timer starts ticking down. But in 101, you know, you can just go nuts. You have tons of points to work with, just as long as you don't drop your combo. Yeah, golf is one of the easier stages to P-rank, surprisingly. As long as you're familiar enough with the holes themselves. Just because touching grease ball in pretty much any fashion resets your combo. I was actually audibly telling myself, don't go to the first priest you see during that section. Because I need to tell myself to not muscle memory into the usual thing. So you need to get to that last priest so you can get the achievement. Oh right, you can get stuck in the ceiling there. Honestly, War as the first P rank does kind of make sense. Just think about it. The stage is forcing you to learn how to run it quickly. And a lot of people get stubborn and really want to go for those secrets and Jerome, despite the time limit ticking down on them. So they keep failing and failing, and then they eventually just succeed with a P rank. Because they kept on being determined, kept getting better, and then they just managed to get it all work in one run. It's kind of awesome, honestly. Nice gold on Peppibot, save a few seconds there. Ah, oh shit. This level's a nightmare on 101%. Your parry game better be on top of things for this one. For War, it's less that the stage is easy and more that the stage forces you to get good at it. It doesn't give you the option of being bad at it because the timer will run out. So it's more of an easy P rank as a consequence of what this game forces you to do anyways. It's an interesting conundrum, but it works out. If you drop the timer in War, you die. It blows up. Okay, so something that's really important to note about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Pizzas. They have a massive hitbox out in front of them during that uppercut, especially when they first land. So, you can actually stand pretty far away from them to land the parry. This is really important in areas where there's not much ceiling space, so they end up landing quickly. It's much safer than trying to time the parry for when they land on your head, because it gives you a little bit more time to react. You can see me do that with these ones, because this guy is fine. But then, like, the next two, low ceiling, so I stand in front of it, low ceiling, so I stand in front of it. Just to give you that little bit of extra time to make sure you press the button at the right time. Consistency is very important there, because trying to get through that room without damaging a pizza, like the little pizza cutouts, and go fast when you're not doing the parry achievement, it's kind of a pain in the ass, actually. And as long as you've landed all your parries at this point, this next guy is the last one. Just be careful about these two. Those are the last pizza cutout fellas in the entire level. At this point, you're good to go, and just get moving. Yeah, the uppercut is consistent. The kicks that they do are very random in terms of when they decide to do them, and I have a very short tell. So, plus they move back and forth all the time, making it difficult to get into position. You really want to parry those uppercuts, because it is much, much harder to parry their kick attacks. Simple strategy for this room, just take the cheese blob at the top and hold it over your head to make sure your combo meter gets refreshed at a good time. I do a super jump there because it is way more consistent for avoiding the penny pincher. And you know what? Consistent's good by my accounts. I'm not sure if that's true, to be honest. That feels like a rumor that's been cycling around. So this first lap I always try to land this trick because it's the harder version. Doesn't mean I have to get the other stuff on the second lap, but that's fine. Get the super jump into the cancel, into the ground pound cancel, because that pops you up a little bit and extends your jump. It's much, much faster than dealing with the trash can lids. I ran with the cheese ball there and managed to completely avoid it. Very silly way to miss a cheese ball cycle, but okay. Yeah, it's definitely the easiest one. There's a couple of easy spots to mess up and get grabbed by Mr. Pinch. You just gotta be a little bit careful. Like right there, if I don't get the mock cancel, I might end up running straight into his open hand. I've still been doing... Oh yeah, I messed up here, so... Slide didn't come out, so I had to do the backup strat. Which is just doing it the intended way. Missed that as usual. You can do the super jump cancel here. It's a little bit less important on when going for this, but you know, it's something. Oh yeah, I went for aggressive strats here. And I did it! I think I was still annoyed about the earlier drops and decided to save a little bit of time. Those secret 3 strats are dangerous. It's okay if you end up falling in the pit, you just have to do the safe strat afterwards, but it's still dangerous. Ended up being a gold split for oh shit, just cause, you know, I did the secret 3 a bit more aggressively. But then just getting a little bit faster with 101% in general. Yeah, that second patch of water was nasty. The best way to avoid it was to not hold forward when you were mock running. Pink City's a bit of an odd one at 101%, because you had to change up your routing entirely to make sure to see all the citizens. Now, thankfully, you can take pictures with the citizens even when they're panicking during pizza time. You just gotta remember which ones you forgot to go take a picture with. But yeah, even during pizza time, you can still snap a photo with them, it's fine. Even though they're currently panicking for their lives, they'll still happily stop and take a picture with you. It doesn't have to make sense. The range that they'll take a picture is really big too, so that helps. Oh god, why did I go for this? This section was needlessly dangerous on the old combo meter there. Yeah, Pink City's pretty fun. Bacon room. I don't even need to grab any of that bacon, but you gotta take some of it. It's the only place where there's bacon in this entire tower. The boys. I appreciate that none of the citizens you need to take pictures with are anywhere except the main hub. All the side taxi areas don't have a single one of the fellas they need to take pictures with. Because it's always just the dancing pigs instead of the still ones. Oh yeah, that random happening! By the way, there's a wall there. I think it was Sloth that I was watching who went through that wall, and I'm just like, what do you mean there's a wall there? I love how big the range on that is. I still got the picture even though it's on the ledge above that guy. Slam! Kick! Jump! Like cookie. Yeah, I got all the angles on those cameras of theirs. Hey, in this round, Brick only gets arrested the one time. Instead of 3 times. There we go, get that achievement. Make sure to do the kick here so you get these 3. I do wonder what ends up being faster, the run over there and smack it with the Gustavo spin strat, or just kicking the rat. Because they seem pretty similar in terms of time spent in the the John Pillar room. Those spells ain't the fastest to get, but in 100% especially, I do actually need them. Yeah, it's just some old lady's house. John Pillar was just hanging out in the back of her place. Kicking Brick or doing Gustavo spin can both cancel the double jump landing lag. It saves quite a bit of time overall. I've determined that I don't need the second bell, so I just gotta go for this instead. Saying, yeah, I make sure my combo meter refreshes. I don't have to destroy that particular pizza cutout, but I really don't want to drop my combo at this point. Pretty good Pig City overall, and in the previous PB I forgot the bacon room, so I had to run back to it. Thus, some more free time saved. Refrigerator has a number of small tasks that you really need to make sure to get done. Not falling is the omnipresent one, so yeah, that's kind of the big level long thing to not worry about. As you get better at the stage, you'll fall less and less anyways, so it's just one of those things that'll get better with time. But these ice blocks, several of them have little birds trapped in them. You can actually visibly see them when you're staring at the ice blocks. You gotta free every single one of them. And yeah, you gotta make sure to kill off at least 5 Santas. They can either be taken out by throwing something at them or super taunting. Santa is invincible to normal means of attack. You have to use those 2 methods specifically. The very first room? You can save a little bit of time by optimal jumps. I just haven't bothered into implementing them yet since it's a very small save. Avoiding rails as much as possible also saves a bit of time since they do slow you down somewhat. This room's always hit or miss. It's like if you don't bash your face at the start of it there, then you can get a smoother run to that particular room, but it doesn't waste that much time, thankfully. But yes, now the Santas show up. And I missed. So I take another shot, and I get him this time. Well, one of the big differences between the 2 games, of course, is level design. This game is designed to flow. There's not a whole lot that's really obstructions. It's more your own ability to play that's the obstruction. Whereas Sonic, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's designed to be obstructions that you can't see coming. Springs, spikes, random enemies that you will crash into, jumps. There's just not enough screen real estate to react to any of it. Plus, everything looks the goddamn same, which also doesn't help. That's why I love the ports of 2D Sonic that have implemented, like, the look-ahead camera, where it shifts Sonic to the far side of the screen, so you have more screen real estate. Then making it 16:9. Those 2 changes actually make things more reactable than they used to be. Yeah, he never was focused that much on speed, but it is similar in the fashion that he was about momentum. A lot of the early platformers were designed around the conservation of momentum. Even in Mario. The first Mario Brothers, things go better the faster you can keep moving. When you slow down, you had to deal with a lot more obstacles. And Sonic kind of took that and brought it to the next logical evolution, which is probably part of why it was such a big hit. You know, I could probably just fly up to the end of this secret. Especially since you have 2 laps in 101%, there's not really any reason to do that full secret. Just fly to the top. That's 4 Santas so far, by the way. Yeah, there's a lot of mechanics specifically in this game to help design to keep you going fast. From enemies getting scared to the various different ways that Peppino runs on walls. There's just a lot of stuff that's there to help you. You get a little bit of coyote time when you start picking up speed so you don't have to time your jumps perfectly. There's so many small things that help a lot. Alright, got enough enemies. There's all 5 Santas. That's the last of the birds. The nuggets have been saved. There's nothing left to do on the actual lap 2 of this, it's just do the lap 2. It's funny at this point that the non-Shine Spark version, not Shine Spark, Space Jump version of this is restricted only to 101% now. Every other category doesn't have to bother with this version of the escape. It's just 101%. Which is a little bit sad, because it's one of the most unique escapes in the game as a result. Just the fact that lap 1 and lap 2 are dramatically different. You can go so much faster with the path cleared, it's actually insane. Yeah, that's some bullshit right there on that one. What do you mean that didn't hit him? I think Peppino is an odd sword sometimes. He's an odd duck. I can't say I dislike him. He feels like a misunderstood little gremlin. It's just what he's being told to do. And it's like, okay, there's no brain in there, so... I mean, there is a brain in there. By the way, this hitbox continues to be something that bothers me, but other than that... There's a brain in there, it has eyes. It's doing its best. Yeah, modern Mario could definitely get through the tower. He'd be kind of slow about it. I don't know if he'd be able to do some of the lap 2s, but he could get through the tower. Greed! 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 I tried to go for a second hit and paid the price. Greed! Greed is the end of 101% runs. Don't let yourself fall to it. Greed is good if you can back it up. And considering I've never landed that hit before, I couldn't back it up. I definitely wouldn't call Fake Peppino the easiest B rank. Just because the hitbox is like the super jump here, where it's really vague when you can and cannot hit him during that portion. Also, it's a really long fight, so it's easy to make a mistake. Vigilante is definitely a lot easier than this. Pretty much just because you can disable his ability to fight. I do still love that phase 2 is essentially just wail on him the entire time because he no longer goes into the floor. You're free to just keep smacking him around. He tries his best, but you can just keep going and going and going. I gotta remember to dash there because it always times it up properly. think Pep actually has a decent amount of RNG to him, such as his spawn locations during Phase 1. But yeah, Phase 2, there's almost no RNG at all. You can just keep going ham. I'd say Vigi and Noise are both easier to be consistent on than Pep. But Pep's not too far behind, and then of course Pepperman comes right after that, because good lord, Pepperman, what is your problem, my dude? How many times have I gone out for a run? You know, some. Ah, welcome, welcome. We're looking at my latest 101% record. It's currently up for pending verification. So it'll be up when everyone in the verifiers decides they want to watch. Cool, Thoroughness. Thank you very much for the Twitch Prime subscription. Jonathan spit a little bit more for us today with that support. As we're moving on into Pizza Scare. This one's a bit tricky in 101% since you need to get all those skull blocks, but other than that. There's so many runs that are awaiting verification right now, my god. The verifiers are trying their best, man. There's so many runs. It's why I don't submit every single one of my PBs, because it's like, you know what? Maybe a few second PB isn't exactly worth submitting when there's still so many in the queue. So go wait until I get a more significant PB. The big thing with the skull blocks is just making sure to go far enough and then turning around. Oh, that guy, he got a good snipe on me. What a dick. Thankfully, Super Taunts is always there to save the day. Go for the safe setup for this one. And even in 101%, you can get away with skipping the first part of that. You don't have to worry about the TV. Because you can always go down there in lap 2 to get those skull blocks. Might as well take the 20-second time save. It's pretty nice. Yeah, Rick and Gustavo's close. It's kind of funny, actually. Hey, it worked for once! But then I got hit by that. It almost worked for once! Got a Super Taunt to get rid of this guy. It's a good thing Super Taunts work on ghosts. Come here, you. I love the impatience towards the bat strat. We'll call it the get over here! Funny combo! I gotta get into the habit of jumping over these clocks. Just in case I screw up. Actually, you know what? Well, yeah, I should probably jump over those clocks, to be honest. That way, if I don't get this jump at the start of the screen, then it's perfectly okay. Because normally, you'd miss that jump, hit the ramp, and then you won't be able to recover in time. But if you leave those clocks, then you will recover in time. And it's only 40 points. So, here's a funny little discovery that come into place because of 101%. So I'm just gonna leave the ghost in there. I don't need him. Everything else is cleared out. We can just leave him in that TV. But unfortunately, he's a cheater. And he comes back out anyways. So even though I left him there, he's still following us. It's like, how'd you get on that TV? I left you in there on purpose! I don't need you! I was really curious what would happen, and then when I realized that he just breaks out anyways, it's like, ah, darn. It makes sense, but at the same time, darn. It's like, how do you get out of there? I guess one of the other enemies sprung him out. Yeah, I got the ghosts. I got them in the Secret 3. That's generally where that achievement will pop, since there's so many ghosts that you take out in there. Now, you don't have any room for extra alarms at all. Made 101%, so you have to be very, very certain to actually not make a sound. Like, normally I just leave that guy, but you can't. You need to make sure they're gone. Now, I can get away with not doing this super taunt. Well, I just want to be safe. It's too deep into the run to not be safe. Just gonna be quick here to make sure the alarm doesn't go off. Yeah, leave no witnesses! And I mean, hey, it's like somebody said before, if Peppino really is moving at Mach speeds, then he's moving them faster than the speed of sound. So you're taking out the enemies before they can even hear you. Little mess up there. I don't have to take out these two because he can get out of the screen fast enough, but, you know, a couple of extra points just in case. These three, on the other hand, that top one will spot you if you don't deal with it. You might be able to make it to the secret in time, but do you want to chance that? Do you want to chance that when you're this deep into the run and are currently 7.5 minutes up? I didn't. Very, very safe strats here. Just, I don't want to drop this stage. We're good on alarms at this point. Once you get past the puppet section, then you're good to go. As long as you don't get caught. Let them sleep will always proc as soon as you hit John Pillar. Like so. I keep on doing that little section wrong. If you just let go of the run button, you'll be able to do the down shoot. You can also just skip that tomato, and I probably should just do that. Gotta make sure to shoot that one. He's the most skippable of the various animatronics during the escape. And yeah, even in the stealth bubble, you're encouraged to go as fast as possible. We didn't have the alarm go off earlier, so I need to actually go over the electric outlet wall during the escape. Yeah, you better believe I was chancing it on that trick. My nerves were completely gone. We still went for some greed. Start over again, blast that guy. Gotta make sure. Taunt after the second pizza cutout. Jump and shoot after the third. And cruise for the end. Get moving. You can always see that little period where I'm making really sure I can see the white arrow over Peppino's head. One timer screwing up that way was bad enough for me. And then there's war, where all you need to do is play good. Now, there is one stipulation, of course, at 101%. Oh yeah, I was definitely going for the safety belts in this situation. There's some tricks that you can use with gun cancels and whatnot in the other categories, but you can't really get away with those at 101% because you can't whiff shots. You get no more than 3 whiffs. Use them wisely. Like there, I normally use a gun whiff, but I can't really do that in 101% because it risks dropping the run. So I just had to kind of stop. Messed up that jump. Yeah, you don't get to see the Pizza Tower guy very much in this category, but since we skip all the secrets in War, you get to see him in here. Because they're much better to do them on lap 2. Pretty much anything that can get destroyed by the gun. So enemies, blocks that can normally be destroyed, target blocks. The clocks are not something you can shoot. Oh, you mean the ones that give... Yeah, that's fine. You can shoot the ones that give you extra time. The consoles. Basically, if the gun has an effect on it, it's not whiffing. But if you just shoot and it hits nothing but thin air, well, that's a whiff. If you shoot and all it hits is one of those rats that you need the missiles for, that's a whiff. Screw that guy in particular. I can't be bothered leaving that guy alive. He's too much of a problem. Lap 2's kind of easy breezy. Most of the achievements are no longer an issue at this point. Because we don't have a gun anymore, so I can't actually whiff. So now it's just all about speed and not taking damage. And in this lap too, you gotta make sure to do all the side objectives. Also this! With the ride out of the way, you're free to just super jump up here. Yeah, as long as most of the enemies are out of the way, lap 2 is usually pretty easy. It's all about your leftover time. Which you should have plenty of, because they give you more than enough consoles at the start of lap 2 to make it through. I do a little super jump setup here just because it consistently gets me up to that platform. I can just jump good, but that's the consistent way to do it at least. Slide jump. Missed the jump input, so gotta go back up here. This secret in particular, during lap 2 is just funny. You cruise through it long before the missiles are at a threatening position. I think Peppinos don't actually increase your combo at all since they are coming into an infinite source. I mean, I did take a break yesterday. Road! Grab the last topping and away we go! Alright, now everybody's favorite part of 101%.
Just don't fuck up the entire Pizzaface fight, forehead.
It's fine, it's fine. It's only like 5 minutes long. And very dangerous. I know there's some different pile driver strats for this fight, but I prefer mine. They're just more consistent. It'll probably be easier for me to do the new strats when I have a hitbox instead of a gamepad, but for now, I very much prefer my run buffers. You'll love to see it! Got good RNG in phase 1, so that goes really, really smoothly. Where the enemy spawn during those slams is the big point of RNG in phase 1. Thankfully, the gear and the attack timing seem to usually work out as long as you're mashing. It's just something I've noticed. Oh, jeez, that is a nasty pattern. Just dodge all the attacks for it. By the way, welcome to the phase of the fight that is the worst for your heart that you could ever imagine. Because you're this far in, you do not want to drop the boss fight. So it's like, do I want to do the parry strat for this?
No!
Safety strats! Yeah, Vigilante is definitely a weird one, because it's like, you actually have to fight him in this one. You gotta let him do his thing for a bit, and it can take a little bit to learn it. Here I want to make really sure that he goes down on the left side of the screen, because I don't want to mess up the timing of the noise here. And it's way easier if you're already on the left. And then I messed it up anyways, but it ended up being okay. Passed right through him, because I was just a tiny bit too early on that. I ain't even gonna mess with that grab.
Just wait for Gustavo.
Gustavo, save me, please. And it's like, how badly did I not want to screw this up? Well, you see, not even attempting to go for the aggressive strat on the boxing glove, or even the fly swatter. It's like, you know what? I'll bleed these seconds.
I ain't even gonna risk getting hit here.
Not even in the slightest. We're just gonna take the free phase and not try to save a few seconds. It ain't worth dropping the whole run at this point. Always feels good to clutch out a 101% run with a first try Pizzaface. I gotta stop getting these.
It puts way too much pressure on future runs.
It's like, what do you mean I keep on ending these runs with the first try? Oh, God. I mean, you gotta. You gotta do it, even if it's a world record. I'm probably the only one that does that.
But you know what? Whatever, I'll make it my signature.
Didn't want to do that ground pound, that's fine. At least I managed to skip both the ramps. Yeah, you can snag those 3 enemies and skip the ramp, it's great. This one room that I take carefully because it's a bunch of... It's a mess. It's a messy room. Oh boy, do I remember the banana? Did I manage to remember the banana? Oh yeah!
I did remember the banana.
It's a miracle! Didn't quite get the hit there, but that's fine. One more Primo Berg! Get the 100 points for that block. You need to get as many points as possible. Hey, it wouldn't be the first time that I jumped a little bit too late or too early on that banana. Primo Berg! Get the speed boost, yeah! Count strats! And that's the 211-14! A truly ridiculous run. With still like 7 minutes worth of just not dropping stages, so I'll beat it someday. I don't know when. I'll give it some attempts at some point. But my god, it's gonna be hard now. I only actually dropped one stage fully, and that was Deep Dish 9. Cross Scope was a small drop, and the rest was bosses. So it's just like, oh god. It's gonna be very rough to beat it at this point, especially since, you know, another first try Pizzaface at the end, so I don't even have that time save available. Absolutely ridiculous. And of course, with 101%, there's always that feeling of tension when this is counting up. You gotta hope, you gotta pray that it lands on it. And there it is. Only got hurt 8 times throughout the entire run.